Welcome back to the Tournament Center. I'm Randy Bueller. It's time for another deck tech. We've got Sam Black, member of Team USA, World Team Champions. So, standard Pro Tour, and you showed up with?
Faeries.
Faeries.
Same played in World with to a 5-1 record, losing only to the Mirror. So,
all right.
Figured.
So, any tech?
The new cards that I'm playing that I wasn't playing in Worlds are the 2 Jaces, basically.
Okay, so basically no.
Yeah, nothing new. Yeah.
I mean, this is the boogeyman, right? This is the deck that's had the bullet on its forehead. Still the best deck in the format, in your opinion?
Yeah, still think so. I mean,
now, did Conflux change anything about the deck, or?
Conflux changed very, very little. I'm playing Countersquall on the sideboard, but it's the same card as Negate.
Fair enough.
The advantage of 2 damage is almost exactly equal to the disadvantage of costing a black instead of a colorless.
Okay.
It was a coin flip as to which one to put
in. So Conflux didn't change anything,
but
you were telling me the thing that actually did change the deck.
That changed my deck personally was playing against Masashi Oisa in Worlds. My one loss was the mirror match, and he played Jace in game 1, sometime, and used the +2 ability when I had Bitterblossom and he didn't. And so I had to try to kill his Jace, but he kept going +2. We're both drawing cards. Eventually he finds a Bitterblossom, then we both have Bitterblossom in play. Once we both have Bitterblossom in play, the game's going to be about our life totals. Because we're trading Faeries and our lives are going down. So I have to give up on Jace and start attacking him. So now he just has a Jace with 7 counters, and it's a Howling Mine for him, and not for me. And close game still, because I had Bitterblossom
that's
early.
Pretty good, huh?
But yeah, there was a turn where I had Thoughtseized him, knew he didn't have anything. He drew like Cryptic Command and then Spellstutter Sprite to stop my counterspell. But
I mean, a lot of people look at Jace as, you know, the -1 ability is the relevant ability, but it's really that +2.
Yeah, the +2.
That's why he's in the main deck now.
Yeah, learning that +2 is the one you want to use at least half the time was really the breakthrough on playing Jace. And just a Howling Mine is really good in this format against the red-white deck and the 5-color deck, because their spells are so much clunkier than yours, and yours are so much more synergistic than theirs, that if you both have a bunch of extra cards, you're going to get a lot more value out of the interactions between your cards than they will. Whereas 5-color is entirely built to be a bunch of cards that are good on their own, or 5-color and red-white are both designed to be cards that are good on their own.
Right, but they're expensive, you know, 5 mana for a Siege King.
Yeah, so when they have 4 of them, I mean, the extra ones are useless.
Makes sense. Now, one other thing that I find interesting about this deck right now is just the way you've laid it out. Like, most people are like, here's my mana cost, my 1s, my 2s, my 3s, but what is going on with the way you've got the deck laid out?
The way I have it laid out is a holdover from deck mapping that I do on paper, where you draw a grid of a 5x3 grid of 15 squares, and then you just fill that out when you're trying to brew. So for me, with most decks, I tend to put my creatures on this side, starting with lowest casting cost going up. Usually there's a 1-mana creature right here, but in this case,
so you can see at a glance that it's 20 creatures.
Yeah, basically a creature here. Well, in this case, it's
16,
only 16.
16, sorry.
And then I usually just do the same thing with my spells.
And the land stops here, so that's 25.
Yep.
Interesting. So that just helps you think about decks and how they get architected and translated onto each other?
Much easier to, like, when you're writing out a deck list, you don't have to write down all the numbers. For this slot, I would write Peppersmoke and draw a line, and then write Terror. The line shows Peppersmoke's down until the 1 Terror that doesn't have a line, so that means it has to be 3 and 1.
Interesting. Okay, now what about the sideboard? Anything interesting going on here?
Nothing too new and exciting. We have Infest for the token decks, Peppersmoke also for the token decks. You'll notice that I have 3 Peppersmokes main, 1 in the board. I love a Peppersmoke. I want it against every single deck that isn't 5-color control. If you're playing creatures, I want to Peppersmoke them. I think that it's much better at killing Figure of Destiny than people give it credit for. A lot of the time people will play it on turn 1 and you can kill it, or you'll be able to kill it in response to a pump, or you'll be able to like block it with a Bitterblossom token and kill it when they're doing other stuff with their mana, and it's only a 2/2, especially in like the red-white deck where they have sometimes they have Mutavaults or Mind Stones, so their mana can't necessarily pump it as quickly.
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's a card some people choose to play, some don't. But
yeah, a lot of people aren't playing it right now. Another card that a lot of people have stopped playing is Scion of Oona, which I'm still playing. I tried cutting it. The matchup that convinced me to put it back was actually against Jund tokens, which I don't really expect to see a lot of. But it just showed me that you have to have Scion so that your tokens are bigger than theirs against token decks. And I think the same thing holds over for black-white tokens.
Black-white tokens, sure.
Yeah, and I mean, it's still really good in the mirror, and 2 Scions is just, a
Okay,
good thing
so
to be able to do.
rest of sideboard, got a permission suite, a couple more discard spells, got Elendra.
Yeah, I have a lot of answers, a lot of cards that are really, really good against 5-color control. The matchup mostly comes down to Jace advantage, so it's important to be able to go up to 3 there.
Do you expect to see a lot of 5-color control? Or is it just that's the matchup where you need help?
It's one of the close matchups. I think it's pretty favorable, but Fallout makes it closer, and I just don't want to.
So tell me about Fallout, because that's really the card we're talking about. Okay, Conflux didn't really change this deck list, but Conflux changed the format and the way people react to Fairies a lot with Volcanic Fallout, right?
Absolutely. Fallout is one of the cards that people have to consider the most from the new set when building, and I think that Fallout chased a lot of people away from Fairies and made people assume that it would chase other people away from Fairies, such that there would be fewer Fairies in the format, such that they have to prepare for other decks.
But is Fallout the knee to the groin that everybody fears it is?
No, I think that based on what I was saying about how it changed people's expectations about the metagame, Fallout almost helped Fairies because everyone else is gunning for it less because you're expecting Fallout to just take care of them. When in reality, it's hard to find a deck to put Fallout in. The decks that best can use Fallout are the Swan deck that Yu Watanabe played in the tournament in Tokyo.
Sure.
That a bunch of Japanese players, including
yeah, I've definitely seen that running around, but it's not a huge piece of the metagame. But yeah, there's definitely a cluster of Japanese players.
A lot of good Japanese players are playing it, and that deck uses Fallout in the board, and still isn't favored against Fairies. 5-color control usually main decks 4 Fallouts now, but they're still not favored against Fairies even with that. The only deck that can really afford to main deck Fallout that Fairies doesn't beat anyway is red-black or mono-red, which you're already not favored against.
If you're going to use the Blighting anyway, now they've got Volcanic Fallout, great. That was already the matchup you were hoping to dodge.
Right, although I played it last round and somehow won anyway. So there's always a chance. I also beat it twice in Worlds.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this tournament plays out. The Fairy deck, it's been the boogeyman in Standard forever. Here you get a look at Sam Black's take on it. It's still around. It is not the metagame dominating 1/3 of the field here that it has been historically, but it's still around, and we're going to find out. It'll be interesting to watch as this tournament evolves, right? Do the Fallouts push the couple of Fairy decks down, or somebody like a Sam Black? He's 2-1 right now. Could keep going, could keep winning. We'll see. Stay tuned to MagicTheGathering.com. We'll keep bringing you coverage of all the decks you should know about if you want to play Standard.